There have been a lot of news stories since my last video, ranging from accusations of racism at Starbucks to the shooting at YouTube's headquarters. But those stories have been covered pretty well, and there's a couple news stories I saw that I think will have larger ramifications down the road, but nobody seems to be saying much about them right now. First case comes from Germany, where a Berlin court has told Facebook they have to stop deleting an offensive comment and unban the user involved, who was, at least at the time of this, under a 30-day ban. Now, the reason this comes from Germany, and this is a kind of important thing there, is Germany very specifically has hate speech laws. They don't have free speech. In fact, they have hate speech laws specifically for social media called the Network Enforcement Act, which they're threatening social media platforms with fines of up to $50 million if they don't remove offensive content, no matter where that content comes from. And that's the problem I have with this, is that I live in America where we do have the First Amendment, we do have freedom of speech, and I am a very strong supporter of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a necessary thing because you need dissenting opinions. You need that dialogue for a healthy and open society. Nobody is trying to stop speech that they want to hear. Free speech protects things you don't want to hear. It protects the offensive. It protects the profane. It protects the ideas that you don't like very specifically, because those are what need protecting. You need to be able to have people who disagree with you in order to have an open society. So I already don't like this German law, especially when it affects me. But the interesting part about this case was how it is basically removing one of the big protections that YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and the like always try to hide behind. We're a private company, we can do what we want. And this is a court decision here. Now, mind you, this is a temporary injunction. This was only done after hearing one side of the case. It's part of a larger case. By no means is this settled or any type of major precedent. But it is still a case of a court telling Facebook, you cannot ban this person right now. And that's why I think it's going to be more important later on. And we'll discuss that in a bit. Now, the second case is one that is again on Facebook, but there's been also something similar going on Twitter. And that is, here, a Virginia court has told a politician that no, you cannot just block one of your constituents on Facebook for disagreeing with you. And as you can see in this little paragraph here, they even point out that there's a similar case going on against President Trump for Twitter. Now, I want to talk about that Twitter case in just a minute here. In that case, it's a reporter, and it's one of many reporters, who got an idea of how to raise their viewer count, their leadership, of how to get more eyes on them. They would follow the president, and anytime the president said anything, and they'd have alerts and notifications that as soon as the president said something, they could jump on and comment. And generally their comments were in a very negative nature, because they were basically trying to appeal to the large left-wing swath in this country. So effectively, these people are harassing the president. Every time the president speaks, they jump in, say something nasty, and get a whole bunch of attention on themselves for it. I kind of agree with the president for blocking them on that. That's one of the functions Twitch has. What this court is saying, and this again, this isn't to the president, this is to a much smaller politician, but what they're saying here is, well, you're a politician, you're a public figure, what you say publicly, everybody needs to be able to see. Now, I'm not sure I necessarily agree with this. Being a politician does not exempt you from being a person. You should still have personal rights and, in some case, personal privacy. And when there is someone who is harassing you, now this case, the court claims that it's not harassment, but if you have someone harassing you, you should be able to use the tools available to stop them. Although, as I say, this is a case where the court is saying, no, you can't prohibit their ability to see what you're saying this way. Now, that's not even really censorship. The previous one kind of was, in fact, really was. And yes, censorship is the proper term for it. You see, censorship isn't just the government coming in and saying, you can't say that. Censorship also includes taking someone's platform away from them, taking away their ability to speak. Now, there are those who argue correctly that, yes, you're allowed to speak, you're just not guaranteed an audience. However, one look at my subscriber count can show you, yeah, you're really not guaranteed an audience here, nor do you automatically have one here. YouTube is not a guaranteed audience, but it's a platform. It's a place where someone can speak and can attract an audience. They aren't given one, but they can earn one. And this is where censorship comes into play, of when someone does have an audience that they've earned, that they've cultivated, that they've built up, to have YouTube just come in and take that away, especially when they don't give any recourse, don't give any reason, don't give the person any chance to correct themselves and come back, or know why it happened in the first place, that is censorship. And YouTube's been doing something lately where they've got a blacklist. You see, there's this multi-channel network system in place, and what these things are is it's basically an umbrella over a bunch of smaller channels. It's a group that deals with YouTube, knows how to take care of things, protect people from spurious copyright and DMC claims and the such. They can also protect when people are, potentially removed or punished from YouTube. They can come in and say, hey, what's going on? We want some information. We're here to protect them. And, well, YouTube doesn't like that, obviously. YouTube likes to hide in the shadows. But they figured out a way recently. They've been telling some of these multi-channel networks, hey, this person you have is being effectively blacklisted. They are in violation of rules. That means they are no longer allowed to be on a multi-channel network. And if you continue to host them, we will punish your entire network for it. So the network has to get rid of them in order to protect the other people. These people no longer have that protection, and, well, they're afraid that they're just going to disappear now without having any word as to why. So that's what I'm saying about YouTube is censoring. And this is not strictly political. There are a lot of people out there with a conspiracy theory that YouTube is heavily progressive and is going after the right wing. This affects everybody. This is affecting people on both sides of politics. This is affecting people who do not have political stakes, who have very neutral channels. Review channels and the like have also been hit with things that YouTube has done. In fact, the YouTube shooter was a very left-wing person who believed that YouTube's censorship policies were hurting her viewer count, her livelihood, that she was being targeted and censored by YouTube for being too far on the left. This is not a left versus right issue. It is a YouTube censorship issue. And, well, not just YouTube either. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all the social media. I do believe that the social media groups are trying to do the right thing, but I also believe they are going about it in the worst possible way. In a perfect world, these court cases are most likely going to be a precursor to a decision coming down that tells these platforms you have to apply your terms evenly to everybody, equally the same. And you have to be transparent about it. You have to explain and justify why you're removing someone, why you're punishing someone, and give them recourse and a chance to correct it. That's in a perfect world. What we have right now are just a couple cases where the court has its foot in the door. Neither of these cases are a slam dunk of the courts are coming after censorship, but they are eroding the protection that the social media platforms have been hiding behind. What's going to come of this? I don't know. It's entirely possible that nothing will come of this. But I would absolutely like to see the social media platforms worried that they're not treating people properly, and that they'll need to start doing so, or they'll face repercussions of their own. There is no justice right now, and I don't know if the courts getting involved will give us justice or not. I don't know if the courts are even going to get involved. But we've already seen a couple cases where law is not on their side, at least temporarily, not on the side of the social media giants, which is a stark contrast from where things have been to this point. We'll see what the future holds.